Surf's Up, the Pgl Copenhagen Major is upon us. I will be co-streaming the event from the safety of my home, so be sure to check me out on twitch.tv/Mauisnake. I might try to do multi-streaming here on YouTube, but just be sure to follow my Twitch account so you'll see all the action. I'll be having guests, be having people over. Probably we'll get some people like Yanko, Kassad, Thorin, Dinko. We got a few names that are regulars in the talent space. Maybe we'll invite somebody like Heavy God over once again on the stream. Yes, I get a couple pro players on my stream too, but they are actually changing the pick'ems pretty substantially here, as you may be able to see before you right now. You now have to get 5 out of 10 correct predictions, and what you can't do is you actually cannot just put a 3-0 that you kind of think is a wishy-washy one. They really want you to put the 3-0 teams that you think are going to advance, because you don't get a point if you put a team in the 3-1 or 3-2 advance category anymore, and you have to guess that they're 3-0 correctly. So if you thought you were going to just cheap out here and just be like, oh, I'm just going to put some weak teams into the advanced category like Amcall and Koi, well, now if you put, say, like Cloud9 and Ents, who might actually 3-0, you won't get points for this. No, you're not actually going to get any points for that. Those need to be the teams, if I'm reading this correctly, that are there. Like, this is tougher now. They're making it harder, and so you have to go for the 10 out of 10 movement. They thought that the 9 out of 9 movement was a meme. No, I was actually just giving you a prescient vision of the future. I was telling you this is how you all need to play the game, so get ready. Buckle in. We're going to show you how to get the 10 out of 10. All right. So there are 2 teams that I think, based off of the seeding, that are going to have a great opportunity here to go 3-0. Those are, to me, Cloud9 and Eternal Fire. I went through the Majors IM bracket, and it does seem like these teams will not face each other. They have the 1st and 2nd seed right now in the seeding, so they won't have a chance to face off against each other, and now you can kind of play this as is. Where I might have actually looked this over differently if I made my hot take prediction after looking at this, is that I think there are 3 teams that are going to be 0-2. I think Legacy has a good chance to go 0-3. I think Linvision has a chance to go through 0-3, and Imperial have a good chance. But I did see that Imperial actually face Linvision in the 0-2 matchup down here, and so the one team that I thought might be able to lose to Imperial was actually Linvision, and so now I actually have to put Linvision and Legacy as my 0-3 teams. I've looked at the seeding. These are the correct 3-0 and 0-3 picks, okay? These are the correct ones. So you will get 4 already, so you just have to be right about one of the 3-1, 3-2 teams. And at this point, I am mostly going for the favorites. I'll go in order of my confidence, just so that you can also maybe play your underdog here or there if you think that it's going to overtake one of my less confident picks. So my most confident pick here is actually Heroic. I have loved what this team has been doing. The steady rise has almost been linear with Saw at the helm, along with Kicksan. And let me say that again, with Saw at the helm. I think that Saw is the main reason that this Heroic team has caught up to speed as quickly as they have. I do not put all of it on Kicksan. I know that people want to just give all the credit to the players, but all in all, I think that they're going to make it through. Fairly confident about that. I can talk more about them at another time. I talked about them on other podcasts already, so you can check those out. But second most confident team I have to make it through here will, in fact, just be Furia. Yeah, that seems a little bit weird, but they seemed head and shoulders above the Americas competition. The player quality is still pretty high here. I think that there's a couple teams that I would rank pretty similarly, like, say, an Ents, and so I'm just going to throw them on right now. I think, like, really, Furia to me are a team that I don't expect them to just kind of walk into a major unprepared. I know that they've had shaky results, but I expect that they're probably boot camping right now in Serbia. I'm sure that they're ramping up as hard as they possibly can for this. And even though their form coming into, say, Katowice wasn't as stellar, that's because Fallen was at a wedding right before that. And I don't necessarily think Fallen's the sickest opera here. In fact, I think that this opening stage has a surprisingly weak field when it comes to operas, but I am going to just be still putting them in there. So Ents as well. On top of that, still pretty proud of what Glaive's been able to accomplish with this team. Kuban also seems to be a great coach in terms of just creating a structure, putting things together, and really the combination of the 9 core, which I was very high on before, along with Glaive at the helm, seems like they've elevated their potential in terms of mid-round situations and late-round situations, so I've actually really liked Ents on top of that. Apex always seem to just turn it up in these kinds of moments. They also said they didn't even really care about Katowice, which means that I hope to God that they really tried for this one, so I'm going to put some faith into them. I don't really like their play style. In fact, I think it's pretty awful to watch. I will try as hard as I can to not watch Apex games moving forward, but I do think that they can win against the majority of these teams pretty convincingly. Now we get down into some of the less confident teams. I'm going to say outright teams I do not think are going to make it through. I don't think Ecstatic is going to be making it through. I don't think Imperial is going to be making it through. I think that's pretty obvious. I don't think Pain will be making it through. I think there's too many rookies, even though Big Azera is probably one of the best, if not the best, Brazilian IGLs right now. I just don't think his other pieces are that strong, like Cowes, Decenty. I think they're okay, but I just don't really rate them that highly just yet. Amcol was a team that I was pretty confident was going to make it here to this major after watching them through the open and closed qualifier and then watching them play the RMR, but I think this is where the road ends. Koi, I also don't, I rate them, between the two Iberian teams, I rate Saw higher without a doubt. And so I'm left with 3 teams, 9 Pandas, Saw, and the Mongols. I will be putting Saw in just because they made it through the Blast Showdown. They convincingly beat Cloud9. I feel like Arosdoz, Rice Pudding, that guy, he seems to be hitting a streak of form right now that will hopefully propel this team. And then you're down to just the Mongols and 9 Pandas. You would like to go for the Mongols for the storyline of just the fact that they're from a region that's less represented. Kassad was obviously very high on these guys when they played through the Asia RMR, but it's not, to me, the hardest to always look that impressive at the Asia RMR, whereas 9 Pandas are consistently fighting it out in European opposition or against European opposition, and I feel like going into this, they're going to be a little bit more well-prepared, and I don't like actually predicting against the Mongols because they have a knack for beating teams very, very regularly. And also I feel like they've always had a kind of a shallow map pool. And in this kind of format where it's BO1s, BO1s, BO1s for the 1-1 game, BO3s into elimination and moving forward, I think they're going to have enough opportunities in BO1s. So I'm really, really torn between 9 Pandas and the Mongols. And this is where I think the make or break is for the 10 out of 10 movement. I will be taking... Oh, this is going to come back to bite me, and people are going to be really mad in the comments. But yeah, I'm going to be taking 9 Pandas. I'm going to be going with C's. I feel like I've just seen a little bit more from them against European opposition more regularly. I feel like they're in those kinds of Tier 2 tournament circuits all the time, and so they've grinded through that. Whereas the Mongols, yeah, they're always like doing the most with the little that they have, but I think it's just going to be too little this time. And despite, I think they're a clear 2-3 team at minimum, though. I think it's foolish to think that the Mongols are just going to bomb out of this event. Anybody putting them as 0-3 probably does not care about the 10 out of 10 movement and just wants to make a statement. So I'm going to save all my picks here. We are playing for the 10 out of 10 movement, folks. Here you are. First, hot off the presses. There we go. I'll catch y'all around. Be sure to tune in for the stream. And as always, being toxic is a choice.